Hi, my name's Alexandra McCallum and I'm the Program Coordinator at Youth Arts Queensland. I'm here in Cairns for the Heyday Festival, woohoo! And right now I'm at the Young Company about to run some professional development workshops for young artists and arts workers in Cairns. But we thought that you would like to see some of that information wherever you are in Queensland or even in Helsinki, I don't know. So I'm going to be making a couple of short videos, and this one is about how to plan for your big creative dream. In my own practice, I'm a writer and a theatre maker and a performance storyteller. I do all kinds of things, and at Youth Arts Queensland we talk to every possible type of creative person that does every possible art form you can imagine. And one of the things that I've learned through talking to lots and lots of people all over the state every week is that there are certain things that it doesn't matter what kind of creative stuff you do, whether it's film or music or craft or making zines, that remain the same. And one of them is that sometimes your big, creative, amazing dream of a career feels like a YouTube video. Now, what do I mean by it feels like a YouTube video? What I mean is that you can, in your head, see how amazing your career is going to be when you win an Oscar, on a residency in Paris, when you release your first album, when you're standing at your first art exhibition and you think, this is amazing, this is going to be great. And round about 3 days a week, that's a good thing, because it gets you out of bed in the morning. You're thinking, hell yeah, I'm going to have an art exhibition. I'm going to do all these great things. And maybe the other 4 days of the week, it's a bit of a problem, because you are probably quite a way away from winning an Oscar. So if that's your big creative dream, or if having an art exhibition is your big creative dream, but you've only got 3 panels under your bed, then sometimes that feels depressing, because you're like, man, I've got so far to go. So I wanted to talk today about breaking things down, because the biggest, most important thing you can do is to think about that dream and then think about something that could help you to get there. Sometimes the dream isn't really even a proper dream, like an art exhibition or a residency or a production. It's just this feeling that one day you're going to do something amazing, but you're not really quite sure what it is. So by breaking something down, by thinking about, okay, in 5 years, in 10 years, I want to do this big amazing thing, what's something smaller, a project, that could help me to do a similar kind of thing on a smaller scale? Now, if you're like most creative people, you won't just have one idea for this project, you will have 17. They are just everywhere ideas. That's what creative people do. They create ideas. And choosing one idea out of those 17 is a nightmare, because you feel like your practice is being pinned to a specimen board like an insect. You think, wow, if I love this project, but if I do this project, does that mean that my whole career from now on is just going to be doing similar projects like that? What if I want to do these 5 other things? Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Okay, the only thing that you need to do is take a deep breath and make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever and have a staff meeting with yourself. I know, right? How can you have a staff meeting with yourself? Trust me, you can. I do it all the time. Allow yourself to think, this is the project I'm going to be working on for the next 6 months. Doesn't mean the other 16 projects that I've got in my head aren't fantastic. Doesn't mean that I don't love all of them, but it does mean that I can start to focus just on this one for the next 6 months. Because if you're going to also be working, doing family stuff, feeding your dog, you've only got a limited amount of time to do this project. So you need to think about what needs to happen to make it a reality. And the easiest way to do this is grab some kind of a piece of paper, really anything that's not a napkin will do, and start to work backwards. Okay, if in 6 months I want to be doing this thing, what needs to happen before that? And before that? And before that? And before that? And before that? It's much easier to work backwards than it is to work forwards. And remember that there might be lots of different parts of a project that you need to consider. So if you're making, for example, an art exhibition or a theatre production, then you might have to think not only about making the work, but about putting it together, finding a venue, and marketing it as well. Marketing is something that people often forget because they're so busy making the actual art. Please don't forget it. You need people to see your amazing work. So once you've stepped backwards, you can start doing other things like thinking about what you'll actually need, what you can beg, borrow and steal, and if you need money, where you're going to get the money from. Once you've got this plan about what you need to do over the next 6 months, you might feel like you're done. But in my experience, organising projects, and particularly projects that you're running and driving pretty much on your own, and you're pulling the team in, and you're the one who leads everything and makes things happen, those steps that you've put down that need to happen are actually bigger than they sound. For example, if it's an event, you might have the thing on your notes, find a venue, which sounds great. That's easy, isn't it? Let's find a venue. But the thing is that if you wake up on a Tuesday and you don't have a day job on that day and you think, right, it's the time to do something on my event, then you might find that find a venue seems a lot bigger than you think it is. You actually need to break that down into a lot of smaller pieces. So, for example, you might say on your to-do list, spend 2 hours researching 5 venues. You need to imagine that you are running this for somebody else and you're telling yourself how to break the task down into small pieces. So, spend 2 hours and find 5 possible venues. Did you do that? Yes or no? Tick. Draft an email to the venues explaining what you need and your preferred dates and asking for a quote. Did you do that? Yes or no? Now, this can help you to stay on track with the project because it breaks things down into things that might be achievable around other things that are going on in your life. And it allows you to tick lots of things off in the list. I reckon you can make about 15 tiny little dot points out of the one task, find a venue. Which doesn't necessarily mean that those dot points have to take heaps of time. Sometimes they might only take 5 minutes to do. But after you've done them, woohoo, you get to tick them off the list. Now I find that this helps you in 2 ways. First of all, it gives you something really super specific to do. So you don't procrastinate. Because doing some research for 2 hours and making a list of venues, that isn't too hard. I can do that. And then there's the times when you aren't procrastinating at all, when you're actually gunning through tasks, but because there's so much left to do, you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. By breaking things down into tiny little pieces, you can then go tick, 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 tick. I am a legend. I've done 15 things today, woohoo! And that helps you to keep going. If this is a project that's going to go for 6 months for you, then that's something you definitely want to do. So that's my personal perspective from my own experience about making your career plans happen. Because just doing something, well, sometimes it isn't as easy as just do it.